Good morning. I am Elena Rosa. And I am Sarah. Thanks for joining us on Meet the Masters. Meet the Masters is a very special talk show that allows famous people from history to get together and discuss their lives and accomplishments. If you are joining us for the first time, you are in for a great treat. Today we will be talking to three very distinguished gentlemen from ancient Greece. The ancient Greeks were very curious about themselves and the world around them. They made important advances in science, learning, and art. Some great thinkers evolved during this time. Great thinkers were known as philosophers. The word philosophy comes from the Greek word that means the love of wisdom. Philosophers tried to find out how the universe works, why people were good or evil, and how people should live their lives. We are fortunate to have with us today three distinguished thinkers, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Welcome, gentlemen. I understand that you three work together. Is that correct?
Oh no, I was only 5 years old when Socrates died, but my teacher Plato was a friend of Socrates.
Yes, Socrates and I spent days discussing important things like courage and honesty. Ah, yes, honesty. But what is honesty?
I don't think our audience has time to get into a philosophic discussion, Socrates. You've got to be careful or we'll spend all your time talking about one subject.
But talk is important. I spent my entire life talking about politics and life.
And look where it got you. You never had much money because you spent all your time at the gymnasium.
Oh, so you worked out too? The gymnasium was a gathering place where we learned about things by talking about them. Your English word for gymnasium is actually Greek. Talking is what Socrates did best, but if it hadn't been for me, the world would never have known about his teachings. Why is that?
Socrates never wrote anything down. It was Plato who put his thoughts in writing.
I didn't have time to write. I was too busy discussing important questions with friends and politicians. I understand that discussions were mostly arguments. Some friends would start talking about justice, but I would pretend not to understand and ask them to define justice. Sometimes they would get very angry.
That's what got you into trouble and led to your death. It sure was. The courts found Socrates guilty of teaching things he shouldn't and forced him to drink a cup of poisoned hemlock.
What did you do when your teacher died, Plato? I traveled and later started my own school called the Academy. What did you teach there? Mathematics, astronomy, paradoxes. What in the world is a paradox?
Here is an example. It is both good and bad to hit someone. It is good when it is a fair punishment and bad when it is unlawful.
That makes sense, I think. Tell us, Aristotle, how did you become a great thinker?
Well, Plato was my teacher for 20 years. Then I became a tutor to one of the greatest conquerors in history, Alexander the Great.
What did you do when Alexander went off to war?
I returned to Athens and started my own school.
But he didn't do things like Socrates and I did. Aristotle believed in collecting things. Collecting things?
Sure, I had a huge collection of plants, animals, poetry, plays.
But why?
Because by collecting things and studying them, I could arrive at the laws of nature, politics, and art.
But Aristotle had money to pay a lot of people to help him study things. Where did you get the money, Aristotle?
From Alexander the Great, my old student.
So Aristotle, this scientific work you did was actually the beginning of the study zoology, biology, and botany?
Yes, but I couldn't have done it without Plato and Socrates.
I taught it that the truth about things could be discovered through philosophical thought, and I taught him that as questions. No other Greek thinkers could have such an impact on the world that you gentlemen have. I want to thank you for all your contributions and your time.
But what is time?
Time is that we no longer have. Thank you for joining us on Meet the Masters.